Tuesday, the 2nd of December. We turn up at Steve's, expecting, like everything else, all the trees everywhere else to be down. But not this one. Still leaves on it, and a million leaves all over the show. So we've got to get these off. Too many for the mower to pick up. So what we'll do is we'll get the drive blown off, we'll blow it all onto the road, we'll blow all the leaves out of the borders onto the lawn, and we can cut that side, that's all right. But this side is different gravy altogether, so we'll have to blow these off. I did come last week, but they was having some new lights put in, so I couldn't do anything because the road was just mega busy with electricians and stuff. So it's not been done for a week or so, but I honestly didn't think there'd be this many to fall, and like I said, didn't think there'd be that many to drop still like half a tree. So this job just continues. Let's get going. All right, so that's the leaf clearing done down here. All that will be picked up. But what I've decided to do is I'm going to do a verticut, just because this hasn't had anything done to it at all other than seeding in July. So it's not had any maintenance in terms of verifying or scarifying or verticutting or whatever. So I think it's a good time to do this. I wanted to get some liquids on. But do you remember just over 2 weeks ago, we did a video where we repaired a bit of damage from a tyre? Well, there's the damage there from the main bit, but we've had another incident since. I don't know who's done that, but somebody else has been on. But we're looking really nice for December. This is normally perished by now, but that ALA is really working on this lawn. It's really paying out. But over here, I wanted to show you where we did the repair patch 2 weeks ago, because we swapped that bit from over there, if you remember the video. But if we have a look up close, we can see some germination. So we've had 2 weeks of horrible weather, we've had a week of severe frosts, and it is still coming through, so that is absolutely amazing. It's here as well, little bits coming through. So by the time we get to February, March, I'm hoping that will have recovered significantly. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a video as well in the coming weeks. We're going to plant this up. Got a nice video lined up for that. We're going to go up to Tarleton Plants, up in Tarleton, near Preston, near Southport, and get some plants for this. I'm going to cut a nice edge on this as well, show you how to do that without making too much of a mess. And then in the spring, or just after Christmas, we'll plant all this with primroses. It's going to look absolutely amazing all the way along here, primroses, and all the way down there and all the way up there. And we'll get to Easter, it's going to look absolutely beautiful. And we'll do this in something a bit more evergreen, so we've always got colour with like ornamental grasses and maybe some structural box plants, maybe something like that. Give us some ideas if you have an imagination, or like well, everybody has an imagination, but if you've got an eye for detail, let us know what you think in this area would go well. But it's certainly not boards and wheelbarrow. So I've got the boards there for when I do the edging. So I'm not standing all over the lawn. We can put the boards down. So they're from the turfing job that I did in June. I've just broke them in half and made them easier to transport, and they're easier to curve around the bend. Bit of squirrel damage, so we'll just do that. That's the only thing you can do. But up close, it's looking very nice. Yeah, a triumph so far. Over this side, similar thing, bit of squirrel damage. Colour's looking great. No disease as such, really. Can't really see any. Lots of worm cast damage, as we know. And once I've cut this, we'll be able to see it a bit more, and we'll have a look after. But honestly, sun's shining. December 2nd. What more can you ask for? A blue sky day, sun shining, no wind, perfect conditions for spraying. So we're going to take advantage of that, and perfect conditions for leaf clearing, because blowing in the wind is a pain. Okay, so I've got the sterling out. I've actually opted for the verifier because we're going to get that verticutting reel part as well, but we're going to get the scarifying option as well, which is going to scoop the leaves. The thing with the verticutter is it does an all right job of picking leaves up, but it's not as good as the Scarifying attachment. So with the Verifier, we've got both, so we're going to get a 2-in-1 hit, and that means we're only, at this time of year especially, we're only going to have to do one pass, which means we're only going to have to go over it once with that machine, so it's less damage. So I've just done a few passes, about 6 stripes. We've got all these leaves, got a mixture of leaves, thatch, grass, everything, which is good because it just frees up a bit of space. So we're not going to get disease creeping in, because obviously over Christmas, New Year, I'm not going to be around here, really. So we have to make sure the lawn's in great condition going into that time, just to ward anything off. If I'm passing, I might just call in and see if we have to act on anything, but the idea is to get it looking great for Christmas, keep it its optimum health, and then any disease we can just try and keep at bay. But there's not many factors that are going to cause that now, because once the leaves are all down, it's not going to be because of leaves. It's a bit colder now, so you don't generally tend to get the disease when it's cold. If it snows, maybe, because you get that microclimate underneath, but don't really get much snow here anymore. We get the odd bit here and there, but nothing like we used to. And like when I was a kid in the 80s, you know, it used to be like knee high, but it's not even ankle high anymore. So yeah, so we're looking good. So I'll just carry on with this, and then we'll give it a cut with the hater just to finish off, and then we'll get those products on, and I'll do the other side as well and make a decision if I'm going to verify that other side just with the worm cast damage. Might just not be aesthetically pleasing today for that, so we'll make a decision once we're over there. Right, so we've got the hater out. I'm still on number 2. Your lawn, you can leave it as long as you want. I had one message saying you should be leaving your lawn at 50 mil. I mean, that's ridiculous. And he got told to shut up. And then he messaged back saying, oh, would you say that to my face? And yeah, I would, because it's just ridiculous. Never leave your lawn at 50 mil, but you can do what you want. But please respect my decision in doing what I want as well, and I respect yours. So I'll just get on. What we're cutting it for is because it needs a cut. But more importantly, we're going to pick up all these loose leaves that they're verified again, because when you turn, the ones that are stuck on the roller just smear off and they're not going to get picked up. So give it a cut and pick these leaves up and just make it look nice for Steve when he gets home. Although people won't see it till tomorrow because he'll get home when it's dark. So yeah, so let's go. Okay, so that's the cut done. Very nice. Last cut of the year, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see where these leaves end up. But it could be that we just have to blow them off if the weather turns a bit more and we get a lot more rain. But it's always just made up on the day as to what we do and when we do it. This side, with all the worm casts that are on there, I'm just going to mow it. I think to go over with the verifier and then the mower would just be too much damage, so we'll just go on with the mower. All right, so we're just going to get on with mixing our winter products in. I've already got some water in the tank. As I said before, we don't put products neat in the tank because what happens is it'll just all run through the nozzle and you'll end up with concentrate at the top. So when you first start, you'll have a really big green stripe, and then as it gets mixed in with the water, it then is its proper rate of application, and then it evens out. So watering first. And whilst I was at B&Q getting a new spade before, saw these as I walked in one of the cages for £4. So you get like 3 different sizes, which is great. So we'll use this one today. So I've got Winter Magic. We've done some really good. That's why it's so green at the minute, because of this. So we'll go on with this again, keep going. This will probably be the last application this year. So it's about 250 square metres this lawn combined, give or take, maybe a bit less. So we need 2.5 litres of this. Just take the filtrate, because it's clean. We know there's no rubbish in there. If it's sometimes water, I'll leave the filter in, because some of my bottles end up with like grass in, and that can clog up. Although you've got a filter down here as well, so it does get caught in there, but eventually that clogs up and affects the spray pattern. So there's our 2.5 litres of Winter Magic. I say with the 5 ALA, that's what's keeping us going at the minute. And these are 500, it's a litre bottle, but that does 500 square metres, so we only need 500 ml of this, 2 ml per square metre. Same with this. So we're going to mix it all in one, and then just keep going to the next thing. So that'll be 1,000. Love days like this where there's no wind. Don't happen very often, so when it does, I really do cherish it. Going to Swindon this weekend, watching Bolton in the FA Cup. Hopefully get into the hat for the next round. And get a nice home tie against like one of the big four or something, that'd be good. See a really full crowd at Bolton. Because January can be a bit of a dull month, so if you have a good FA Cup tie to look forward to. But last season we lost to a team at the top of the league in that division, Walsall, so you never know, it's a long way to go in it to lose. Walsall wasn't that bad, but Swindon's like 4 hours away from here, so it could be a long day, especially if we lose. So that's all mixed in now, and what I need for this lawn is around 12 litres. So at the minute, if I just look in there, we're at 9, so I need to add 3 litres up to here. There is a marking on the side, but you need to see the shadow of the water. And obviously if you lift the filter out, 12.5 litres is just halfway of this little bulge here, where it goes in, where it, a bit of a recess there, so it's just halfway up that. That's right, that's right. So there we go. Now we're ready to spray. So as I've always said, this time of year, all we're looking for is a green lawn, moss-free, disease-free, and if you can get a stripe, then fair play. And yeah, you might do a little bit of damage around the edges and stuff, like I have at the bottom of this lawn, but I can't let the rest of the lawn go just to protect that bottom bit, even though it looks a bit unsightly. So that's the decision you've got to make, whether you kind of just want to leave it to go along and have a harder job recovering next year, or just do the damage like I'm doing and just keep on with the products and stuff and let it recover. Like I say, this probably a bit last cut anyway, so we don't have to worry about doing any more physical damage to this, and then we'll just sort it out next spring. But yeah, for me, keeping the disease away is the most important thing for me at this time of year, because that can wipe out your lawn. But for those of you who say ryegrass doesn't do well in the winter, I think I'm beginning to start proving a few people wrong. And that is how you make a customer's garden look better in just over an hour. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to leave that to sit on the leaf, and the rain will wash that in later on in the week. We're not coming again cutting it, so we're not going to mow it off or anything like that. And because there's loads of moisture in the plant and around, it's absolutely fine just sat on there wicking its stuff, and then once it gets washed in, it can be taken in by the roots. So what we're going to be doing next time here, might not be the next video, but here we're going to be doing that corner over there in terms of getting that edge nicely edged, and then in another one we'll do that planting in another video. But before then, we are going to be doing some work at the Galactic project. I'm just going to be doing a final visit there, and we'll show you how we get on with that. But until we meet again, just take care, and we'll see you next time here on Daniel Hibbert Lawn Expert. Bye for now.